Hello and welcome to Movies You Missed podcast. I'm Vee.
I'm John.
And after our Memoriam episode last week covering Rob Reiner and two spectacular movies, we've decided to go in a little bit different direction this week, not only with comedies to lighten the mood, but also with movies that are not as good as Rob Reiner films.
That's for sure.
We are proudly covering low-rated comedies this week because both John and I still think they're funny.
Yes, indeed.
And both star Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
So now that we've told you who stars in these movies, you all have an idea of the level of quality of the films we're talking about. But
I'm curious what people are going to think which ones we're going to do, and I think we're going to totally out of left field everybody with these.
Yes, because these are both forgotten movies, very underrated, and we still are more than happy to recommend them.
Absolutely.
So we're excited to jump in, especially because we've talked about it before we started recording, and neither one of us have that many pieces of trivia for either of these films, which seems to happen with comedies more than other genres, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. But we're still looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have about both these movies, and we'll dive into the plots as well. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for joining us this episode and this week. We're really happy to be here and to discuss the new movies we've seen in theaters or on streaming in the last week, because we are getting closer and closer to our 2025 recap episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, John, let's dive into it.
Yeah, so I saw 4 new movies over the last week. 3 were on streaming and 1 was in theaters. I'm going to start with the one that was... I don't even honestly know why I watched it. However, the director of this movie we have discussed before, and we will discuss in a very near future episode, Joe Carnahan's new movie, The Rip, with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Oh, I'm waiting to watch that until after our recap episode. That's when I'm going to start watching 2026 movies.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It... I don't even really know what to say about it. It was pretty much a C- for me. Didn't really enjoy it very much. It just felt really, really, really cheeseball, and the writing was very high school. Nothing really grabbed me in the movie. I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I bet.
The other movie I watched was a small independent film that I saw while I was just scrolling through Amazon. And it was a kind of a psychological thriller / horror movie called Rounding with this actor Namir Smallwood and nobody else that I actually could pinpoint in this movie. But this was an interesting movie about a medical resident that is kind of having a bit of a mental breakdown in doing his rounds. And if anybody's interested, I kind of recommend it. I would say it was like a B-. It wasn't like super great, but it was also something new and something pretty fresh. And then I watched a new documentary.
Nice.
Yes, I watched a movie called Cover Up about Seymour Hersh. He's a writer that has been writing for many decades. His first story was about the My Lai massacre in Vietnam, and after that he just continually wrote about a lot of government cover-ups all the way up into the Gaza situation going on right now. It was very fascinating and very well done. It was on Netflix, but it was a very good documentary. I think that's my 8th documentary for the year of 2025 so far.
Awesome. And it was a 2025 movie?
It was a 2025 movie, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so the only 2026 movie I watched was The Rip. All the other ones are... Well, actually, that's not true, because the one I saw in theaters is the new sequel to 28 Years Later.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You did go and see that.
I did. I went and saw The Bone Temple. Went in with 0 expectations, considering how disappointing 28 Years Later was. But I gotta say, after I marinated on this one and really let it sink in, The Bone Temple is pretty damn good.
I'm absolutely shocked.
Yeah, you and me both. Jack O'Connell was ridiculously good. Ray Fiennes was great. The story progression's good. I liked the music. There were a couple of interesting musical numbers, not like musical thing, but like bands that showed up in this movie. Really went with the flow of the movie, and there's a sequence leading up to the final about 10 minutes that is pretty outrageous, but it's great. I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, I recommend seeing Bone Temple, even if you did not like 28 Years Later.
I think we're both shocked.
Yeah, I was. I drove home and was just like, yeah, I think that was good. That was a vast improvement of last year's movie.
That's good. I'm glad it redeemed itself for you.
Yes, so now I do look forward to the third installment, which I believe will be coming out next year.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what I saw in theaters or on streaming. V, what did you see over the last week?
I saw 2 movies, both in theaters. One I absolutely loathed, and one I absolutely loved.
I wonder which one you loathed.
I went and saw the new Timothée Chalamet movie called Marty Supreme.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were not going to like it.
Other than the production design and being very believably in the 1950s, I absolutely hated the movie. It sucks because it was over 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time, as many of you know, with movies where there is an irredeemable protagonist, and that is absolutely what this movie was. This guy is an unrepentant, lying asshole.
Yeah.
And it was just so hard to follow him along for 2.5 hours.
All right, well, that's too bad.
And,
you didn't like Timothy as in the role at all? Like, you didn't like anything about it?
Well, and that's the thing I'm a bit confused by, that everybody's kind of raving about him, including the fact that he won the Golden Globe for his performance that is quite one note. All he does is manipulate people and talk really fast in order to do it. He felt like a used car salesman, and it didn't seem like the performance had that much range to it. I mean, and so I wasn't very impressed. I actually am quite disappointed that he won the Golden Globe now that I've seen the movie.
Oh, well, I'm not. I can understand the car salesman thing, though. He's absolutely trying to sell himself and sell the fact that he wants to get to Japan for that match. So I liked all of that. There was one thing that irritated the living hell out of me, though, in that movie, and it was the whole thing with the dog. I thought that was just ridiculous.
Well, it's so funny because afterwards on the way home, I thought that movie should have been named One Battle After Another, because he's just getting into one catastrophe after another he's got to fight through.
That's true. Yes, he is.
So that was...
All right, well, that's too bad.
Yeah, I absolutely hated it. And it's not going to be on my should-miss list because I understand that some people would like it, but I just hated it. So it's a well-made movie in a lot of ways, but...
Yeah.
I'm really, really disappointed that he won the Golden Globe, especially because the night before I saw Hamnet.
Oh, boy.
That movie is absolutely spectacular. It is my favorite movie of 2025. It should be winning all of the awards. It was so exceptional. The cinematography is gorgeous. The production design is beautiful. Every single actor knocked it way the hell out of the park, including the children actors. I was so impressed from the moment the movie started. It's scored by Max Richter. It's absolutely unbelievable. I cried so many times in that movie. Oh my God. And
really? Jeez.
Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley should be winning all the awards. Chloe Zhao should win Best Director for the movie. I think this is an exceptional movie. I was so touched by it, blown away.
Sweet.
Oh, absolutely love it. Highly, highly recommend it to everyone, and I'm going to be rooting for it at the Oscars.
All right. Well, you know I'm likely to see it at some point soon, and I do love me some Jessie Buckley, so we'll see what happens.
So those are the 2 movies that I watched this week.
Sweet.
Okay, it is time for us to jump into our Martin Lawrence movies of the week, comedies, of course. And since this is an odd episode, John goes first.
Comedies indeed. When has Martin Lawrence done a drama? I don't think ever.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
There's a couple of dramatic scenes in the last 2 Bad Boys movies, but those are definitely not dramas. Those are certainly action comedies. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to think about. Like, the guy's literally only done comedy because he had his sitcom show, The Martin Show, or Martin, which I never have actually watched. And then Bad Boys. And then after that, I think Blue Streak came out. Then Bad Boys 2. And I know he has like a stand-up movie out called Run Tell Dat, which I've actually never seen, but I hear is great. I don't think he was on the Kings of Comedy tour, if I cannot remember, actually. I know Cedric the Entertainer was, and I think Bernie Mac was. And Bernie Mac is actually in my movie, and I love Bernie Mac in this pick of mine.
Yeah.
Bernie Mac was always great. Rest in peace. He was awesome. I can only imagine how much fun he was to hang around with. We have discussed him before in my past pick of Bad Santa, which absolutely loved him in that movie as well.
I was trying to think of what other movie we had discussed him.
Yes, and I know he took over for Bosley in, I think, Full Throttle, the Charlie's Angels movie, but I never actually did see that one. But I'm going to have to because I know Demi Moore is also in that one.
But I'm trying to
think of
but
we're not here to talk about Demi Moore.
I mean, I'm
more
than happy to, though.
Yeah, right.
Especially because we just talked about her last week in A Few Good Men.
That's very true, yeah.
But I'm trying to think of any other comedians who have only ever done comedies in their career, because so many of them have moved over to more serious roles to the benefit of all of us, actually. I mean, Steve Carell, Robin Williams, Will Ferrell,
Right.
Jim Carrey. They've all done really great work in dramas.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Rock?
Yeah, Chris Rock.
I mean, Adam
Chris
Sandler
Rock
was in
has
Uncut
done-
Gems, so that's...
Yeah, Adam Sandler was in that and Reign Over Me, which was a
Right.
drama, and Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, he's been in some good
And,
dramas, actually.
Apparently Jay Kelly now, which I got to check out.
Eh.
But, well, it's likely to get Oscar buzz, and it's Noah Baumbach, so everybody's probably going to go nuts over it. But going back to Martin Lawrence, National Security, Black Knight, the Big Mama's House movies, Wild Hogs, which we've talked about, the remake of Death at a Funeral with the all-black cast, which was a great remake from the original British version. So I think he's pretty much just been in comedy, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just interesting to think, like, he hasn't done anything drama related.
Well,
it's just fascinating.
Let's be honest here. It's probably for the best. It's not like the man has a lot of range. Like, yes, we're fans of him. These movies are fun, but come on.
I always would find it interesting to see an actor like Martin Lawrence jump into a dramatic role just to see what he could bring to the table. But everybody else in this movie that my pick anyway has all done comedy and drama. So it's an interesting mishmash of actors in my pick from 2001.
Well, and I think that's the perfect opportunity to tell our audience what movie it is.
That's right. I haven't even done that yet. Like I said, 2001, this movie came out. This film was written by Donald Westlake and Matthew Chapman, directed by Sam Wiseman. You may not know his name, but he did direct a couple of flicks from the early 90s, most notably D2, The Mighty Ducks, and Brendan Fraser-led George of the Jungle. So the guy has definitely made some movies.
The Mighty Ducks sequel's awesome.
It is, yes. I actually haven't seen that one in I don't know how long. I have it on VHS. I have them both on VHS. But I have not watched D2, The Mighty Ducks, in maybe 20-plus years. It's been a long time.
For sure. Me either. And I probably won't ever revisit either of them because I don't want my childhood shattered by realizing they're not great movies.
Well, I think the first one still holds up. It's just, I remember when I did watch that, I think about 10 or some odd years ago when I got it at Amoeba, it's like, wow, yeah, Emilio Estevez's character was a heavy alcoholic, and this is a Disney PG-rated movie. But anyway, talking about my pick, this week from 2001, starring Martin Lawrence, John Leguizamo, Glenn Headley, Carmen Ejogo, Bernie Mac, Larry Miller, Nora Dunn, Richard Schiff, William Fincher, Anna Gasteyer, and Danny DeVito. This is a movie that I bet you half of you haven't even heard of. It's called What's the Worst That Could Happen? And if you have not seen What's the Worst That Could Happen, if you have nothing else to do on an afternoon, give 90 minutes to it, because it's very entertaining.
It really is, and it's currently streaming for free on Pluto, so it's not going to cost you any money.
Yeah, and if you have MGM Plus, it's currently streaming on there as well. This was one of those movies that after I watched it, I was like, oh, I should get that movie, and I never did. I always was like, oh, it was so entertaining to me. Of course, back in 2001, I was, gosh, how old was I? I was 16 when I first saw this movie, and I never actually did see it in theaters. I think it was one of those movies that lasted like a week or two in theaters. I don't think anybody saw it. And we'll talk about the budget and all that stuff in just a little bit. But for the breakdown of What's the Worst That Could Happen, for those of you that have not seen it, Kevin Caffery, played by Martin Lawrence, is a thief. This movie opens up at an auction house, and he's there trying to somehow figure out a way to buy a painting. However, he ends up meeting Amber, played by Carmen Ejogo. And Carmen Ejogo is selling one of her father's paintings because she needs the money really bad. Kevin decides that instead of buying it and trying to one-up everybody and be the cool guy, he lets the painting get purchased and offers to take her out because her father died and she wanted to hold on to the painting, but she really needs the money. So one thing leads to another. They go out, they have a cup of coffee, things start to progress for both of them. They end up really hitting it off and starting to live together. And of course, unbeknownst to Amber, she has no idea that Kevin's whole MO and whole career, if you will, is basically thievery. And she decides that she's going to give him this really lucky ring that she feels will kind of signify their relationship. And she gives it to him. And he also, we find out that Kevin has a little bit of a tick that if he does end up lying, he blinks a lot. And he brings that up really early on in their relationship. And she asks him the day that she gives him this ring if he will promise to never lie in their relationship. So what does he do? He says, no lies, and he doesn't blink. And Amber's very swooned by this. It's so romantic and adorable. So now that we've got the Kevin introduction out of the way, we all also are introduced to Max Fairbanks, played by Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is a businessman, kind of a philanthropist, more of a
philanderer.
I was going to say philanthropist slash philanderer. He's married to Nora Dunn. She plays Lutetia Fairbanks.
I love her so much.
Yeah, we've always loved Nora Dunn. We talked about her in Pineapple Express many, many episodes ago.
I remember her from Bruce Almighty. She was like his producer or something, right?
Yeah. When he's at Niagara Falls after Evan does the whole like a big recipe, and like he's just standing there frozen. It's like, Bruce, talk,
because he didn't get the job. That's right.
Yeah, Evan stole his whole shtick about the cookie thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to doing Bruce Almighty.
Me too.
Talking about it recently,
love it.
I actually remember her, and this is a really roundabout connection between our two movies this week, but I remember her. She was in a couple episodes of The X-Files, and in it, she's married to Michael McKean, who's in my movie this week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, she's this great housewife. In a couple episodes of The X-Files. That's where I remember her from. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Nice. No, that's all right. So like I was saying, we meet Max Fairbanks. He's a philanthropist. There we go. That's perfect, actually. That's great.
Is he a philanthropist, though? When, at any point in this movie, does he ever give any of his money away?
That's actually a solid point, yes. Okay, philanderer and somehow making a lot of money based off of business decisions that he's made. And we find out later on that he married Lutetia because she has a lot of connections with philanthropy and ends up helping him get his business ideas invested in. So that's just a little backstory of how they are together in the movie. But we meet Max while he is at his, he's got a house in the Hamptons that he's hanging out in that we also find out he's not allowed to be in per a court order because he and Lutetia are going through now bankruptcy, and the house is going to be sold at auction at one point or another. But Max really couldn't give a shit and goes out there anyway with Miss September, played by Sasha Knopf. I think I had only ever seen her in this movie. She's done a couple other things. She was also in Shallow Hal, really, really small role, but not a whole lot. But she plays a Playboy bunny, and they're in this house together. And like I said, Kevin is a thief, and he and his partner Berger, played by our buddy John Leguizamo,
Yes.
go out to this house. And they only go out there because they find out about this court order of the fact that the house should be empty. So they get out there and start ransacking the place. And I love the scene where Kevin finds the whole, the watch calendar, basically. He's got like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday watch that Max wears that Kevin's like, shit, I'll take all these and have a different watch for the day, for every day of the week. And while Max is in the bathroom with Miss September, Max hears a little bit of a scuffle and goes downstairs to see what's going on. And he runs into Kevin. And he's got him at gunpoint. Yeah, he's got him at gunpoint, and Kevin's like, hey, man, look, you caught me fair and square. Why don't I just bounce out of here? No harm, no foul. Just let me go. We're all good. Max is like, hell no, man. You're trying to steal from me. I'm going to make sure that you get your comeuppance, and calls the police. And the police come and arrest Kevin. At this point, Kevin actually hasn't walked out of the house with anything. Max feels that he's going to really screw Kevin over and take the ring that Amber gave Kevin. So the cops, of course, do not believe Kevin that the ring is his because he's ultimately stealing from Max, and Max is like, son of a bitch, he's going to walk out here with my ring. So the cops make him hand over the ring, and Kevin tells Max that he's going to get that ring back one way or another. So Kevin goes to Berger, and he goes to Uncle Jack, played by Bernie Mac, and tells him that he's got to get this ring back and really stick it to Max Fairbanks for what he's done. So Kevin, Berger, and Uncle Jack all start to put together a group of people that'll help him figure out a way to get his ring back and ultimately take down Max Fairbanks, not just for the ring, but for everything that he's got because of his bankruptcy situation. And Anna Gasteyer plays Anne. She plays Berger's wife. Her and John Leguizamo play off each other very well in this movie.
Yes.
We have Siobhan Fallon Hogan and Lenny Clark. They are partners with Uncle Jack as well. They're magicians, which is fucking hilarious. And they end up getting recruited by everybody to help bring Max Fairbanks down and make a lot of money in the process, but ultimately get the ring back for Kevin. And Kevin has to tell Amber that, of course, he lost the ring, but he has to bend the truth a little bit and not tell her exactly how he ended up losing the ring.
Well, it was so nice to see Siobhan Fallon Hogan in this movie because I will always love her as Edgar's wife in Men in Black.
Yes, of course.
I always forget that she's the bus driver in Forrest Gump, the school bus driver.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Chewing the gum and everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're not strangers anymore. Get on the bus.
She chews gum in a lot of her movies. It's hilarious.
She
I think
really
that might
does.
Be her thing. It's kind of like Denzel Washington. You can always tell when he's chewing gum.
But her lines of Edgar wearing the Edgar suit is just will always be
pop
classic.
culture brilliance for sure.
Yes, for sure.
So while now Kevin and Berger and Uncle Jack and everybody are working on a plan to get back at Max Fairbanks, we're introduced to Gloria Siddell, played by Glenn Headley. She is Max Fairbanks' assistant, and she's a bit of a tarot kind of witchy woman that, of course, Max has had an affair with as well. Yeah, definitely a psychic. And the introduction to her is great. And she's like, tell Mama Bear what's the matter. Come on, Papa Bear. And he's like, stop it, Gloria. I got this ring, and there's something about this ring. So he starts thinking that this ring is now going to bring him luck, and he's going to get out of bankruptcy because he one-upped the thief. He stole from a thief, which is the whole thing of this movie. So basically, what's the worst that could happen from stealing from a thief? And what's the worst that could happen from being stolen from? And beyond these characters, Richard Schiff, you might recognize him, maybe not by name, but he was in The West Wing. He's also Eddie Carr in The Lost World Jurassic Park. He gets, well, no spoilers here about The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Are you ever going to pick Lost World?
Oh, yeah. When we do a sequel episode in the future, I will definitely do it, because I've done Jurassic Park already. And then,
obviously.
Got to definitely do Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Lost World Jurassic Park, because I love The Lost World.
I thought
and a lot of people do, too.
But and Pete Postlethwaite's in it, so I think it's a requirement of this podcast.
That's right. Yes, it is. We also meet Earl Radburn, played by Larry Miller. His character is great. He is a PTSD-induced bodyguard for Max. And, oh, boy.
Only Paolo can take this and turn it into a princess.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we talked about him in the Princess Diaries. We did something else with him in it, too, didn't we?
Oh, he's been in so much.
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About You. He was the dad in 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's right. Yes, of course. He's the dad.
Also known as an orgy. And Hell is Just a Song.
That's my favorite one.
I want you to wear the belly.
Oh, my God. Mr.
Boy.
Stratford is the best.
Yeah, he's great. And we'll discuss Larry Miller again in the future when I do the Eddie Murphy Nutty Professor, because he is Dean Richmond, the dean of the college that Sherman Klump is a professor at.
Well, and I also think at some point we should do Christopher Guest movies.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, we totally should.
Speaking of Larry Miller and Michael McKean, actually.
Yeah, Michael McKean, I'm drawing a blank on who he is.
Well, in my movie, he's Tim Robbins' boss. And so he's in...
okay. Yeah. He's in all the Christopher Guest movies.
A Mighty Wind.
He's the lead in Spinal Tap, too.
He is also the lead in Spinal Tap.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of Rob Reiner.
Yes, his name always escaped me.
Yeah, no worries.
Beyond Larry Miller playing Earl Radbaum, we have a wonderfully hilarious, I think it's my favorite comedic role of his, Detective Alex Tardio, played by William Fichtner. A completely flamboyant, dog-walking, prissy human being that his dialogue is hilarious.
I don't care.
I love when he walks in, he takes his hat off and drops the cane, and then later on he leans up against the fireplace and does this whole swoon thing. It's the visuals that William Fichtner brings to this movie really elevate the comedy that's already there. Like I said, you actually said, this movie's not good, but it's funny. It's a very entertaining hour and a half. There's not one moment where you're like, wow, this is a stupid movie. Although it is a stupid movie, but it's very funny. I think this was my first time watching this movie in 8 or 9 years. It's been a long time since I watched this movie. And within the first 15 minutes, I was laughing a lot. And I'm like, man, this is actually a much funnier movie than I remember it being.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in about 20 years, and I totally agree with you. I wasn't sure what the experience was going to be like, and I'm very happy with it. And William Fichtner was awesome, and his makeup is way better than mine. And I love that he plays this very flamboyant character, but it's not a farce or making fun of him. Like, he is the best robbery detective on the Boston Police Department. Everybody respects him. And so I like that aspect of it, that it's not that we're laughing at him, and it's not putting a flamboyant man in there for those kind of lowbrow jokes' sake, right?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
He's just an eccentric character, and he's amazing.
Very much so, yeah. And at one point, he's like, I was always into figure skating. And apparently he ended up being in Blades of Glory a couple years after this with Will Ferrell and John Heder.
Perfect.
I've only seen that movie one time, but that was actually a pretty entertaining flick, Blades of Glory.
I think I only saw it once, but I do not remember it at all. And I just love that he has those little Bichon Frise dogs. And
yes.
He's walking them on the sidewalk. He's, pull daddy like a chariot.
And I love everybody calls him Tardio. Like, hey, Tardio! Because everybody knows who he is. The scene between him and Kevin on the street when he's walking those dogs is actually very entertaining. Mm-hmm. But other than that's pretty much covers everybody in the movie. And I guess we can get in for the rest of the movie at this point because I haven't really done that yet. But for the rest of the movie, Kevin and his team try to bring down Max Fairbanks and get him for all he's got, while Max is trying to be one step ahead of Kevin and these guys, while he keeps this ring as his lucky charm for having one-upped a thief. Like we just said, it's a very funny movie for an hour and a half. You can turn your brain off and just have a good time with it. There is a great scene with Martin Lawrence and John Leguizamo where they play Arabs, where they're trying to figure out a way to get in with this. That whole sequence always cracks me up.
Me too.
And what's really odd to me is that there's not a whole lot of BTS on this movie, but I didn't watch the DVD. I watched it on streaming. I remember watching the making of this movie on the DVD when I rented it after it had come out. I got it at Blockbuster one afternoon. I probably watched it like 3 or 4 times over the course of like the 3-day rental, because you could rent movies for more than just one day.
Right.
And Martin Lawrence and John Leguizamo were interviewed together a lot, saying that every scene of theirs was improvised. Every single scene that they had together was not written, although there was a screenplay, but the director said, Sam Wiseman was like, hey guys, this screenplay isn't that great, so just improvise and keep the swearing down. I just want to get a PG-13 rating. So that's why there's only
awesome.
one fuck in this movie, except for the scene at the courthouse where Kevin calls in to the courthouse and Max is like, fuck you. And the interpreter, the sign language interpreter, that whole scene cracks me up so much.
Oh, it's so stupid, but
so
still
hilarious.
So good. And
it is. It's so dumb.
Figured that's why all of his cursing was bleeped at the Senate hearing, because they wanted to make it a PG-13 movie, so that makes sense.
Yes. And it was on live television, so it was kind of like a Happy Gilmore thing after Happy Gilmore misses the ball, and he's like, fuck, and it's like, beep, beep, beep. But it seemed like Martin Lawrence and John Leguizamo, everybody seemed like they had a really good time making this movie, and I'm glad that they did, because it does show. This movie had a $60 million budget.
Oh my God!
I couldn't wait anymore. I had to drop it. $60 million for this freaking movie. I can only imagine that Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito got at least $20 million, and everybody else just got chump change. I don't know.
I mean, John Leguizamo.
Man,
this was 2001.
This was
so
after
Leguizamo, Romeo and Juliet.
After Romeo and Juliet, but this movie came out on the same day that Moulin Rouge was released in theaters. So John Leguizamo had 2 movies drop in 2001. Well, actually 3. Not that Spun ever did really go to theaters, but Spun was from 2001 as well.
Oh, yeah.
So John Leguizamo was busy between 2000 and 2001. And, of course, we love him to death. Big fan of John Leguizamo. If you ever listen to this, man, we are massive fans. Would love to have you on the episode one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be really cool to do one of your underrated movies. I've got Spawn on the list because I love Spawn, and I love Leguizamo as the clown in Spawn. But anyway, $60 million for what's the worst that could happen, and a little bit of the BTS.
I feel like
just
Chris
dropped.
Tucker in the moment.
Right,
so
$60 million. Yeah. But anyway, I've talked about how much I enjoy it, and V, you kind of have, but why don't you fill our audience in on what you thought of your first rewatch of What's the Worst That Could Happen?
Thank you, and thank you for picking this because I never would have watched it again otherwise. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really good time, and I can't believe it's actually based on a book. I really want to read the book now, actually.
I know. That was wild to see that in the credits, too. I'm like, oh, shit, I could have read the book.
Yeah, released in 1996. So that was a really fun little tidbit. And, oh, God, Danny DeVito is hilarious. I love him and John Leguizamo so much more than Martin Lawrence in this movie just because I feel like Martin Lawrence is kind of the same as we always see him, where Danny DeVito, the way he acts reminds me a lot of like Ruthless People and some other comedies in the 80s where he's an asshole, but you can't help but love him. And the way he talks to women, he's so awful, but he's just such a
I don't even respect you.
And that's I love that so much where Miss September is like, you don't respect me, Max, and he goes, why should I respect you? And then she just slaps him across the face, which was really quite satisfying. And John Leguizamo is amazing in this movie, not only as a Middle Eastern man, totally believable, and I love his improvisation there, but I actually love him even more with the monocle as the German auctioneer.
Oh, that was so great.
Amazing.
So great.
And there's actually a little bit, there's a vibe of that in Moulin Rouge as well, because he has a monocle and a little bit of that accent. So that was really fun to see
as
again.
Toulouse, yeah.
Yeah. Max, I mean, there's a moment where Max is mouthing off to this judge, and this guy is just not taking it. The judge is getting more and more pissed off. And Richard Schiff, his lawyer, leans in. He's like, we paid off the other judge, not this one. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's a telecom billionaire. It's that classic arrogance of I can get away with anything because I'm so successful, which is not untrue.
And he's only successful because of his wife's friends. It's not even like him.
Yeah, of course. And the scene where they try to break into another one of his houses, and John Leguizamo and Martin Lawrence get stuck because the security system comes back on, and they can't move.
Is so good. Yeah.
I mean, it's so dumb, but I'm still laughing at it. Like it's still really good, and I think it's just because
this is not the time to tell you, Kevin, but I really gotta pee.
It's like, just go, man. It's okay. I won't tell anybody.
That's what you said the last time. I love that moment.
Yeah, like I mean, we're quoting this movie, and it's so dumb, right? But the way these lines are delivered by these guys, it makes it funny, and I'm not ashamed to admit I had a really good time with this movie, and.
Same. It really, when it ended, I was like, well, shit. I'm glad we didn't put it on a movies we hate episode because I would have been like, I like this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
And I don't know anybody else that's freaking seen it like at all. I don't know anybody
I think
in my own personal life that has seen this movie.
Introduced me to this film, which is funny because she introduced me to my pick this week. I guess she was on a Martin Lawrence kick when we were in high school.
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. And Siobhan Fallon Hogan being married to, I forget his name in this movie.
Oh, that was Lenny Clark. I said Larry Clark earlier. Okay. Please forgive me, Lenny, if you ever do listen to this. Lenny Clark was his name.
But those two together are these angry Irish couple that have a bunch of kids, and all they do is yell at each other and insult each other, but they do love each other in the end, and they have a really fun dynamic to watch as well. Everybody who's a supporting character in this movie is really fun, and I think that helps a lot. Everybody, that's why you've listed the cast so extensively, is that there are so many great character actors in this film and comedians in this film, and so those two together, though, hating on each other was really entertaining too, and she's just like, move your fat ass, and he goes, hey, I've lost 10 pounds recently, and she goes, where? In your toenails?
I know, yeah. At one point, too, he's like yelling at her, and she goes, oh, shut up, and she looks at him and she's like, I love that fat bastard.
Yeah, and her accent is great. Yeah, so a lot of fun, like you said, a really entertaining way to spend 90 minutes, especially when
definitely
you just want something really easy and consumable to watch, and so I'm really glad you picked it.
Awesome. I'm glad that you had a good time with it. So anybody out there that hasn't seen, like we said, if you have 90 minutes to kill and have never seen it, give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. I like I said also earlier, I really do not have any BTS for this movie except for a couple of pieces. This one really was a bit surprising because when I read this, I was like, what was he supposed to be? Kevin? Was he supposed to be Max? Originally, this was a project that was presented to Heath Ledger. And I was just like, who? What? Like, that's
he was John Leguizamo's character.
Maybe he was Burger. That actually could have been pretty fun, I think.
No.
That would have been cool. But Leguizamo just knocked it out of the park. I also, beyond the Heath Ledger thing, there's two other things. The composer Mark Shaman said that scoring this movie was the worst job that he ever had, which kind of sucks to hear.
Oh, I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe the director and him just didn't clash very well. It's possible.
Wasn't Mark Shaman the composer for A Few Good Men last week?
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, well, there you go.
And you hated the score last week. That's so funny.
I really did, yeah. Which is also interesting because Mark Shaman, he did The American President, he did Clueless, he did George of the Jungle, My Giant, Patch Adams, South Park, Bigger Longer, Uncut, The Wedding Planner, Kate and Leopold, Down with Love, one of my wife's favorite movies, which I do enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely had a career, and he also did some of Team America World Police as well. And The Bucket List. Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not sure why this was one of the worst. Maybe he just didn't like the movie because he and the director Sam Wiseman, they worked together a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, unless this was their last one and they had some sort of falling out, which is too bad. But either way, Martin Lawrence jumped into this movie a few days after wrapping the first Big Mama's House movie.
Yeah, he was busy in the 90s and early 2000s.
Definitely. And Big Mama's House is a very entertaining movie. That's Martin Lawrence and Paul Giamatti and Nia Long and Terrence Howard.
I will take your word for it.
Well, maybe I'll put it on a future episode.
Okay,
anyway,
but
like
it
I
might
said,
be relegated down to movies we hate after I watch it, just to let you know.
Yeah, it could. It very, very possibly could. Now, we already know the staggering budget that this movie had. I can imagine, like I mentioned before, cast certainly, but a lot of locations because it's certainly a location type of a movie. And on top of that, the opening weekend in the U.S. brought in $13 million. The the domestic gross was $32.2 million, and the gross worldwide was $38.4 million.
Whoops.
So it did not do well at all. And that's unfortunate because it is an entertaining movie, but either way, no big deal. Everybody still went on to make more movies after this. It's not like this movie was a career killer for anybody.
No, not at all.
So that is What's the Worst That Can Happen from 2001. If you care to check it out ever, like V said, it's on Pluto. You can also watch it on Tubi or on MGM Plus, or you can rent it on Apple TV for $3.49. Now, I think it's time to jump into V's pick of Martin Lawrence movies. What do you say, V?
I say it's about that time.
All right, let's do it.
We are going to rewind the clock back 4 years to 1997, apparently one of my favorite movie years because I have picked several films from 1997, and I also think it's fitting because this is episode 197.
Hey, there you go. 1997 was a good year.
Yes. I picked the Martin Lawrence starring as well as Tim Robbins and Kelly Preston, and a couple other people too, which I'll get into in a minute. This is Nothing to Lose.
Mm-hmm.
As a teenager, I watched this movie so many times at home. My sister Shannon introduced our whole family to this film, and we all really enjoyed it. Thought it was really funny, and John had never seen it before, so I'm really excited to hear that you had spoiled that you did enjoy it, because I'd asked you ahead of time because I just had to know and make sure that you I shouldn't pick something else or we should change things up. And so I'm glad that didn't happen, and I'm excited to hear your favorite parts of the movie. And so getting into it, Tim Robbins is a guy named Nick Beam, and he's an executive at an ad agency. And the movie opens up with him asking his wife for a divorce.
Yeah.
He's telling her that it's not you, it's me. Well, actually, it is you. I think you're really gross. And it cuts over to his wife, and it's Kelly Preston, who's gorgeous. Yeah. And he calls her a fat idiot, and that's when they both burst out laughing because they're actually just messing around. It's a fun game they like to play to see who's going to break first. And her response to him is so good.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how this movie opens, and he seems like he has a really great life. He has a wonderful, beautiful wife that they both love each other. He's got a great job. He's well off, and he's even friends with his boss, played by Michael McKean, who... His name is PB in this movie, and Michael McKean has 257 credits.
Damn, that's a lot.
And beyond the Christopher Guest movies that we talked about, this is Spinal Tap, the Rob Reiner movie. He also, my favorite role of his actually is in Clue. He plays Mr. Green, the super dorky guy, and we'll talk about him. I'll talk about him more when I pick Clue, probably coming up. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, so.
Yeah, I know, you're a big fan of that one.
He also was in Better Call Saul for a long time because he plays Bob Odenkirk's brother, and I just gave my dad Nobody for Christmas, so I was excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
And so Nick Beam is doing great, but unfortunately one day he has to cover for his boss. PB tells him that he's got a really important date and he doesn't get that lucky that often. Nick has to cover a work dinner for him, and he's really bummed out because he was supposed to take his wife to a Philharmonic performance, and so he's stuck at work. But thankfully, the man who he was supposed to have dinner with cancels, and so he runs home and he says, I'm going to surprise my wife. I'm going to surprise Anne. I'm going to go home, get some flowers, and we're actually going to make this performance. But unfortunately, when he gets home, he catches his wife in bed. And he sees cufflinks on the counter that say PB on them. So now he's realized that his boss is having an affair with his wife. Which is kind of life-shattering, worst news you could possibly get.
Yeah.
So he's in a daze. He walks out of the house, and he is just on autopilot. He gets in his car, and he's just driving at about 30 miles an hour, not only through stop signs, but also he got on the LA freeway, and he's still only driving 30 miles an hour because he's so out of it. and he takes an exit and goes into a not-so-nice area and stops at a stop sign and hangs his head. He's just so devastated. And this is where Martin Lawrence comes in.
Oh, yeah.
As T, he gets in the car, pulls a gun, and says, "Welcome to hell, bitch." And this is great because it's finally snapping Nick Beam out of his stupor.
Boy, did you pick the wrong guy on the wrong day.
So Nick has locked T in the car and has just kept driving again, and now they're out in the middle of nowhere. I want to say like far eastern California, or maybe even into Arizona. It's very dry, it's very cactusy. And they pull up on a little diner, and this is where they start talking and starting to actually get to know each other. And Nick tells him what happened about how he caught his wife in bed with his boss. He also starts giving T a bunch of shit about being a robber, basically a thief, and being lazy and not getting a real job and stuff. And this is where Nick realizes that even though they've stopped at a diner and he's gotten coffee, he actually doesn't have his wallet with him from a previous scene.
Yeah, that sucked.
And so Martin Lawrence, playing T, comes in and saves the day by giving the waitress the last couple bucks. And Nick realizes that unfortunately he now has to rely on T in order to get back home. He doesn't have any money for gas or anything else, and he's been driving for quite some time. And so they stop at a gas station on the way home back to LA, and Martin Lawrence is going to go pay for the gas, but unfortunately Nick looks up and sees that T is actually just robbing the place because he too did not have any money, hence wanting to rob Nick Beam in the beginning. And Nick tries to get away, but unfortunately T has already thought of that. He had brought the keys with him, so he gets back in the car and an argument ensues and they end up fleeing, thank God. But this is where finally, when they're clear of everything, Nick pulls over and goes, "God, how could you be so stupid? Why would you do this?" And T goes, "Okay, enlighten me, brilliant guy. Like, what do you think I should be doing instead?" And Nick goes, "How about wear a mask? How about case the place? In fact, how about you don't even rob a convenience store? Because what's the most you could get? A couple $100? And take my boss, for example. Case out a guy like that. I, for one, know that he keeps hundreds of thousands of dollars in his safe in his office. Now, not only do I also know the combination, but even if I didn't, there's only one inept guard, and there's an easy security system." And he stops himself and starts to think about it and realizes, well, my boss just completely screwed me over, literally. So why don't I take from him now? And this is how T and Nick make a plan to go back to LA and rob his boss.
Yep.
And now, during this little escapade, it seems like they're on Route 66. Sheriff's deputies around that area are getting notices of a black man and a white man who are actual armed robbers and murderers. And it's not actually T and Nick. In fact, it's John C. McGinley and Giancarlo Esposito.
Yep.
And you all will totally recognize both of them. John C. McGinley, not only was he the boss in Scrubs for all of the years.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also one of the Bobs in Office Space.
Yes, he is.
He's a badass Marine in The Rock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He works for Ed Harris in that movie. So yeah, and he's also been in Platoon and Wall Street. I like John C. McGinley because he's been all over the place. Speaking of actors who, like Martin Lawrence, who have only done comedies, John C. McGinley goes from really serious roles to really ridiculous ones like the one in this movie. He's a total white trash loser and looks completely different than you would ever see him in Office Space or even Scrubs. So really, really cool character actor. And Giancarlo Esposito, we're big fans of him on this show. He was in Your Pick of Monkey Bone that we talk about a lot because I hated it so much and it was early on in the podcast. But everybody will recognize him, or most people will recognize him as Gus Fring in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He's also the bad guy in The Mandalorian that John hates, but he was really, really good and really, really evil in that show. It was very fun to watch him.
He was in Captain America Brave New World last year, too.
Oh, that's right. He was the best part about that whole movie, actually.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, so these two guys are the actual criminals. They are actual murderers, and they're roaming around too. And unfortunately, at one point, Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins run into them, which is a couple of very funny scenes. And so now T and Nick have these two guys on their tail as well. And they go back to LA and break into Nick's corporate headquarters and go about trying to rob his boss. And so for the rest of the movie, we have Nick trying to get over the fact that his wife has completely obliterated his heart. T just trying to provide for his family. These two bad guys, John C. McGinley and Giancarlo Esposito, following them around and trying to harass them and maybe kill them, and as well as some cops too. And so this is just a really fun. Is it a road trip movie? Not really.
Yeah.
They only really go one place. It's not really a road
That's
trip.
True. Yeah, there's not a whole lot
there's
of road
a lot of driving.
tripping. Yeah.
And there's I think one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, though, is when they're driving through the desert at night, and all of a sudden Martin Lawrence realizes that there's a spider crawling on Nick's head.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a couple of things that come about to culminate in this really hilarious scene that I've always really enjoyed. And then afterwards, the gas station attendant making a comment on Nick was really good too. And unfortunately, there's a moment where Nick gets shot, and so that is actually a really hilarious scene. And T suggests that if he wraps his arm in ice, maybe they'll be able to reattach it. And that's one of my favorite lines of the whole movie.
Yeah, that was pretty damn good.
And then we get Martin Lawrence's mama being added to the scenes, which she's great too. I love that she does not give a shit. And lastly, the scene where T tries to train Nick on how to rob a place by robbing a hardware store of flashlights. Oh gosh. So yeah.
That was good, yeah.
There are a lot of really great parts of this movie, and I have a really good time watching it. I haven't seen it in almost the same amount of time that it's been since What's the Worst That Could Happen. It's probably been 15 years minimum since I've seen Nothing to Lose, and it was so great to revisit it and brought a lot of childhood memories back with watching it with my siblings and also my parents. So I'm glad to hear that you had a good time, but that was all you told me last night just to make sure that you had a good time with it. So I'm really excited to hear what parts you really loved about it.
I did have a good time with Nothing to Lose. I remember seeing the poster at the Palmdale movie theater when it came out, and I only at that point knew of Martin Lawrence because of Bad Boys. I hadn't seen Bad Boys, but I knew that my dad had, and he was a fan of the movie. And he was like, yeah, Martin Lawrence is pretty funny. I'm curious what else he's going to come up with. This was my first time watching it, and I laughed the entire time. I think it's like an hour and a half also. I don't think it's very long. On top of everything that you listed, I really like the scene where Nick is being taught how to rob with T at that hardware store. And the guy behind the counter is kind of like, well, you're not really that threatening. And then at one point, he like tries again. He goes, how was that? He goes, that was a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
that sweet old guy.
Yeah, that was great. And anytime McGinley was on screen, cracked me up. Giancarlo Esposito too. I didn't recognize him right away, and then he did his laugh, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like Hypnos from Monkey Bone." Oh, that was Giancarlo Esposito. That was a cool little realization. And Nick's wife, oh my gosh, wow, she was hot, like super beautiful. I did like the opening scene, especially. Yeah. I did like the opening scene. They're back and forth with the joke telling that they were doing. And of course, I'm sitting there, and when she starts to go, I'm like, well, she's telling the truth. Like, there was just something in my mind that was like, well, he's totally fucking around, but she's telling the truth. And then, of course, what happens. I'm like, haha, called that one. I liked the scene where they are in the building trying to rob it, and the security guard goes nuts. That I imagine you'll talk about who the security guard is.
Yes, but when that scene came on, I was like, I bet John's going to think this is really funny.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was hilarious. And I like that guy who plays the security guard, and you might as well let everybody know who he is.
Well, he's the lead in Kung Pao, Fists of Fury.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry. Enter the Fist. My apologies.
That's right, Into the Fist.
But that is Steve Odekirk, who is the writer and director of this film.
Yes.
One of the best director cameos.
Oh, yeah.
Playing that dancing security guard. But he is the writer of Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty, Patch Adams, The Nutty Professor,
Yep.
Cowboys and Aliens, and Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, and directed it.
Wonderful. Looking forward to doing that one. Maybe I'll do Lost World Jurassic Park with Ace Ventura When Nature Calls.
No, we're doing Ace Ventura 1 and 2 together.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, that is Steve Odekirk, and he wrote and directed this movie.
Yes, that scene cracked me up big time. And like I'm sitting there watching it like, my Lord. And it kind of had not exactly the same, but in the scene where the lasers come on and what's the worst that could happen.
Exactly.
A lot of similarities in both of our movies. And that's going to happen in like another 2 weeks where both movies of ours are almost the exact same movie.
Oh, yes. Well, that is kind of the whole point of picking topics every week, right?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. So overall, when T takes Nick to his house and his wife wakes up, I liked that whole scene too. And then you mentioned T's mom coming out. That was great. So overall, it was a very entertaining movie. I would likely watch it again if somebody's like, hey, you want to watch Nothing to Lose? But I don't know how often I would personally go back to it. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a good watch. And Tim Robbins in a comedy, which he does not do often, was great. I think the funniest thing that he's ever done is in Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if people know that that's Tim Robbins, because I didn't freaking know that it was Tim Robbins until I read the credits.
I think he must be friends with Jack Black because he's in a couple of Tenacious D things, right? Okay.
Yeah. They went to USC together. They've been friends since college.
Yeah, weren't they roommates or something? That's right. I totally forgot about that.
I don't know if they were roommates, but I know they had classes together and they kept in touch. And that's why the Tim Robbins shows up in some of their stuff.
That's awesome.
And it's great. Yeah, yes. Tim Robbins, he's funny. Like, he's a funny dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a really, we talked about him in Mystic River for crying out loud.
God.
He's great in that. And then Jacob's Ladder, of course, can't not talk about Jacob's Ladder if you're talking about Tim Robbins. But yeah, he's got quite the career, and this was a fun one to watch, and it wasn't so serious, so I liked that about it.
Good, I'm glad. And yes, talking about his credits, he also was Merlin in Top Gun, where he's the one who freezes up and gives that becomes an opening for Tom Cruise to come in to the Top Gun program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first Top Gun. I actually tried to watch it after I saw Maverick, and I got through about half of it. It was okay.
Yeah.
Maverick is a far superior Top Gun movie.
Totally agree. And Tim Robbins is in Bull Durham and Shawshank Redemption. He is great in Arlington Road. Have you seen Arlington?
Oh, I've never seen Arlington Road. That's him and Jeff Bridges.
I'm picking it then. That's an incredible film.
That came out like right around the time of the Oklahoma City bombing, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, which is like 95, 96, I think. Yeah. Maybe 97. And
hey!
He plays the President of the United States in Austin Powers. He really wants to nuke the moon.
Oh my gosh, that's right. He does.
Would you miss it?
In the first one.
Would you miss it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The moon. This is 1969. $100 million doesn't even exist.
Exactly. And then he goes to Mars on Mission to Mars, which is cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Okay, yeah. I've seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, and he won the Oscar for Mystic River, actually.
Right.
But he's also insane in War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The Tom Cruise
movie,
one.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And he directed Dead Man Walking with Susan Sarandon and Sean Penn.
Well, he and Susan Sarandon, are they still?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
There was a Family Guy joke where Susan Sarandon shows up. He goes, "Hi, I'm Susan Sarandon. Some of you might know me as Tim Robbins' mother."
Oh no!
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah. That was like early Family Guy. I think like season 1 or 2 or something like that.
They were together for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kelly Preston.
Shoot, if I were Susan Sarandon, I mean, come on.
Yeah, she's still gorgeous.
She's hot. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kelly Preston, who plays Anne, his wife in the movie, she was John Travolta's wife.
Right.
And she played Kevin Costner's love interest in For Love of the Game, but most people remember her as Tom Cruise's partner in Jerry Maguire.
Oh, wait, what?
Well, she's his girlfriend until he has a nervous breakdown.
Renee Zellweger shows up?
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
interesting.
quits, and then
I haven't
they break
seen
up.
Jerry Maguire in a long time.
I wonder if I'd like it now, because as a teenager, I thought it was really boring.
I liked it when I first saw it. I
Yeah,
have a
me
VHS
too.
copy of it, and I remember like, this is a good movie. But yeah, I wonder if I would
I
still
liked
feel
it
that
too,
way.
but I also thought it was really long and kind of boring. But I knew it
was
was
a long
good.
one, yeah.
I knew it was a good film, right? So anyway,
Right.
so that's where a lot of people would recognize Kelly Preston, unless you've seen Battlefield Earth, because she's in that too.
Well, of course she is.
Of course.
Scientology, yeah.
She's married to John Travolta. And
Yep.
so I'm really glad that you enjoyed and were entertained by this film. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to get a tattoo of it or anything because it was so amazing, but I'm glad that you enjoyed your time at least.
Yes, absolutely.
And because these films are so underrated and very forgotten, that we'll be introducing them to our audience as well. That's, of course, the point of the podcast. And like your film, I only have a couple pieces of trivia. And in fact,
All right.
a couple is literal because it's two.
Wonderful.
So this is actually Martin Lawrence's and Giancarlo Esposito's second movie together because they were both in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Oh, I don't even remember Martin Lawrence in Do the Right
I don't
Thing.
either. But does that mean it was a serious role? Maybe that's his one
That is
serious
a
role.
solid question.
Guess we have to
I've only seen Do the
rewatch
Right
it.
Thing one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember it was really good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It was good. It was.
Yeah.
We like I like Spike Lee, and I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I might have to go back and rewatch that one.
Yeah. And my second piece of trivia we already talked about.
Oh, all right.
Because it's the fact that Steve Odekirk is the dancing security guard. He makes the cameo.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was. I had no. I know IMDb your movies, so I didn't know what you had. If it was going to be like Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence got into a scuffle or something like that, that would have been interesting.
No, it's so weird that so many comedy movies don't have a ton of behind the scenes trivia because you'd think they
Yeah.
would have the most.
Right.
Or just a good amount because there's, like you say, a lot of improvisation or there's a lot of different people who are considered. And of course, there's lots of trivia in our action movies because we're talking about the stunts or the practicality and things like that. And I get it. But I'm just kind of surprised that is a commonality that comedy movies don't have a lot of BTS.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So I guess I'll just talk about the budget instead.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It had a budget of $25 million, a little more respectable.
Mm-hmm.
And it just did okay. It actually wasn't released worldwide. At least I couldn't find any numbers that it had been. Purely a US and Canada box office amount that I found. And that was $44 million. So on a $25 million budget, it didn't really make any money, but it wasn't a complete bomb either.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But I still highly recommend it, and that is Nothing to Lose. Unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere, but you can rent it, and it was just really nice to revisit both these movies this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a good time.
Well, great. Those are our Martin Lawrence comedy films of the week. We hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. And John, would you watch What's the Worst That Could Happen with Your Grandma?
Probably not. I don't think my grandmother would have liked that movie very much. It wasn't really her cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So no. What about you with Nothing to Lose, unless you already did watch it with your grandma?
I didn't because my grandma passed away in 97 actually, but both of these movies are quite tame despite mine being rated R. It was only rated R because there's more F words in my movie than your movie, honestly.
Right.
But there's no sex, there's hardly any violence, there's not any blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they're just fun comedies to watch with just about anyone in your family if you think that they would enjoy this style of comedy.
Agreed indeed.
All right, do you want to tell everybody what we're doing next week then?
Yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be a sad episode next week, so let's try and keep it cheerful today for our audience. No, it is gonna be, there's some trauma coming your way, everybody, especially if you are our age, over 40 and short from a midlife crisis. We are going to be going back into the world of the master non-Disney animator, writer-director, Don Bluth. I'm excited for this episode because I have both of these movies on VHS, and it's going to be a great rewatch of both of them. I chose a movie from 1989 starring the voice talents of Dom DeLuise, Burt Reynolds, Lonnie Anderson, Judith Barcy, written and directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. This is All Dogs Go to Heaven. Everybody, get ready. If you care to follow along, actually, wow, I didn't know this, but it's streaming on Peacock.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. And as far as I know, there's one scene that is not on Peacock that is on the VHS copy.
Oh,
So
I'm
we'll
going to be
see.
watching it on YouTube. Don't worry. That
Oh,
scene,
perfect.
I
There you
mean,
go.
that deleted
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. So that is my pick for next week. Follow it along if you care to check it out. It's also on MGM Plus if you have MGM Plus. Navee, which Don Bluth traumatic film did you choose for next week?
I've been really dreading this episode, but I'm really excited to revisit both these movies because I have not seen them, either of them, since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love my film so much. I don't know why, because it's so traumatic, but I watched this movie so many times as a kid. I had it memorized. I think a lot of childhood memories are going to be flooding back when I watch this film this week.
Sure.
I am talking about the dinosaur epic, The Land Before Time.
The Great Valley.
Oh, as soon as that score comes up, I'm sure I'll start crying.
Yeah. Both are great. I used to, like you, these two movies my sister and I would watch all the time. And All Dogs Go to Heaven is pretty twisted.
Yeah.
It's
I remember
not
seeing it
as
at my sister Suzanne's house, I think.
Yeah, I think yours is far tamer when it comes to the twistedness because of just, well, we'll get into it next week. But yeah, both are great. They're both really nostalgic and super, super excited to do both of them.
And pure heartbreak. So prepare yourselves.
Yeah. Yep.
I just will
Big
always
time.
remember the shadow scene in my movie.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay.
Littlefoot.
We'll talk about it next week if we can.
Tree stars. Yeah, we will. Yep. We will. Yep,
oh,
yep.
that's right. That's right. Oh, you're already bringing it back. That's so good.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So those
Petrie
are...
can't fly.
Oh my God, I forgot about that character. Okay.
You forgot about Petrie?
I'm getting excited about this now. I think our conversation is going to be wonderful. Okay. So those are the two 90s childhood trauma movies that we are doing next week. Please follow us along, or if you really, really can't bring yourself to watch these movies, we totally understand, but you can at least join our conversation next Wednesday, so please do that. And until then, please rate, review, subscribe, and tell all your friends and family, and people even you don't like, I don't care, about this podcast, so we can get some more listeners and continue doing this, please. And until our next episode, film is a form of art, and in art, every opinion is valid, except if you think.
Just because the movie is pretty stupid doesn't mean it can't be funny and entertaining.
There you go. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.